Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for showing up to the Transportation Commission meeting of June for 2024. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We'll start off with a roll call of the commission members. Brandon Cruikshank, Justin Denardi, Matt Eckhoff,
Present.
John Hanson,
Present.
Bob Kuhn, and Josh Stone.
Present.
Lieutenant Ryan Turley.
Here.
Jeff Bauman.
I'm here.
Excellent. And we have a number of city staff in the room as well. And council. Thanks for the reminder. Great. With that, we'll move into our preliminary general business. At this point is public comment. Any member of the public may address the commission on any subject within the commission's jurisdiction that is not on this meeting's agenda. The Arizona Open Meeting Law prohibits the commission from disclosing or taking action or discussing or taking action on an item that is not listed in the prepared agenda. Commissioners may, however, respond to criticism made by those addressing the commission, ask staff to review matter, or ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. Is there anybody in the, so if you have any comments on something on the agenda, please wait for that item to come up. In the meantime, is there anybody that would like to make public comment at this time? Moving right along. As a note, I can't actually see any comments that are in the chats or anything like that. So if anybody has anything, just pop up and say hi. So new business, Bicycle Advisory Committee and Pedestrian Advisory Committee appointments.
I think you skipped over approval of minutes, but that's okay because I mistakenly sent out draft minutes that weren't quite ready for you. So if you can.
That was intentional.
Yeah, no, and we didn't even talk ahead of time. We'll bring those back in August.
All right. Yeah, so I did skip that over the agenda, but Jeff just covered it. So Martin, I think this is you.
Better? So this item is for appointments and reappointments to the Pedestrian Advisory Committee and the Bicycle Advisory Committee, which I might add is a privilege or a duty that is unique to the Transportation Commission because they are the only commission in the city that has standing subcommittees that are made up of different membership. Typically, commissions are appointed by the council, but you have the opportunity to appoint members to those two subcommittees. I wanted to give you a little bit of background this time around. We typically go through these appointments and reappointments fairly quickly, just to kind of let you know what we've worked on and maybe talk about how to do this in the future or a path forward. So we had a number of both vacancies and applications available for the Bike Advisory Committee this time around. And the Bike Advisory Committee expressed an interest in being more proactive in reviewing the applications before they went to Transportation Commission for appointment. So a subcommittee of 3 members of the BAC met, reviewed the 7 current applications that we had, and the results are included in the recommendations for appointments that was listed in the agenda. The review is done based on the 7 criteria that I have shown up on the screen. Quickly, they were first off, if the applicant is a bike commuter or supports bicycling as a form of transportation. The second was the number of years they've lived in Flagstaff. The third was their experience on government committees or in advocacy. Fourth was a passion or love for bicycling. 5 was a stated concern for roadway safety. 6 was an interest in the environment or sustainability. And then 7 was if they added to the diversity of the committee And that was defined in a number of ways, including gender diversity, the type of cyclist they are, the neighborhood they lived in, and whether or not they were a member of a disadvantaged group. Each one of those 7 criteria were weighted, so you can see the highest ones were safety and love for cycling. And we went through all the applications and scored them, contacted the applicants afterwards to let them know, and then made the recommendations to you. And that is what is reflected in the appointments to BAC. Reappointments, we typically don't review. They've already been on the committee, and we just ask if they are still interested in to submit a new application. So with that, I'll stop. But if you have any questions about the process that was used, or if you have any advice, like what would be useful to you, what could we do ahead of time in talking to applicants or reviewing the applications that you would find useful when you make these appointments? We're happy to have that discussion. And I think that's it. I thank you.
Thank you, Martin. I have a question. I see 7 people up for appointment. How many members are on the bicycle committee?
7.
Okay.
So
So every
it's
single
the-
member is up for appointment or reappointment.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a combination of things, but three members who, and terms are staggered. So 2 come up every year, then 1 year, the 3rd year, 3 come up. So it kind of keeps us, not so the whole committee doesn't get replaced at once. So what happens is we have 3 members who were up a couple of years ago, and they're termed out. They have no more eligibility left. So those are the 3 vacancies on Bike Advisory. And then 2 members, 3 members are coming up either last year on 2023 or this year in July of 2024 and are eligible for replacement. And then 1 member is coming up for her term ends in 2024, but she's not eligible for replacement. So overall, we're getting 3 new members now, having 3 members reappointed, and then in July, somebody will term out, and we'll have to fill her vacancy when that happens. So part of what's happening is we haven't done this since last year, and so we're kind of catching up on vacancies that have come up in terms that have expired.
Thanks for the clarification there, Martin. Are there any members of the Transportation Commission that would have any comment or have any questions? We'll do questions, then we'll do public comment, then we'll do discussion. So any questions first?
I take it they have to be off a year and then can come back if nobody replaces them. Is that right?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, could you repeat that question?
Do they have to be off a year of the commission before they can be reappointed if nobody else applies for has to be on the committee?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, would any members of the public like to speak at this point in time? Seeing none, we can move on to commissioner discussion. Is there any discussion people want to have, or does anybody want to make a motion possibly?
I'll make a motion as Martin asked to be appointed as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you, commissioners. We have a motion that's been seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, we can go straight to a vote. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any members opposed? Great, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for the members of the Bicycle Advisory Committee that went through the effort to score and rank those. Yeah, to put the extra effort into going through those applications. So thanks for that. So now moving on to, there's no old business, so just concluding general business.
The reports from the Bicycle Advisory Committee and Pedestrian Advisory Committee are online as usual. Martin is here tonight if anyone has any specific questions on those, but usually not. And then we have informational items. First up is commissioner discussion, but we could do the staff updates first if you'd like.
Yeah, let's jump right into staff updates.
Okay. And I think we're gonna tag team this one. I think David's first on Boulder Point and maybe Fremont as well. And maybe even number 4.
Thank you, Chair. Happy to be here. And yeah, we'll see how many of these I can address. So first off is Boulder Point and Woodland Drive traffic calming. We have started construction in Boulder Point. We're doing this in phases, starting with the circles. And we are ahead of schedule so far. And we're hoping to complete the work near Majestic and Tombaugh within the next 2 weeks and then move further down University for a pedestrian crossing, and then the raised crossings, then finally go to Woodland Drive after those are completed. So we're excited about that. Fremont Asphalt Art, we did complete that project last month on May 18th with Metro Plan, and generally positive response from the neighborhood. And we're gonna go back out around June 18th to reevaluate the speeds to see how it's affecting conditions. And then the speed limits on Butler Avenue have been changed to 30 miles per hour from Milton all the way to, is it Sawmill? Or no, yeah, Milton to Sawmill, and then 35 from Sawmill to Ponderosa Parkway. So that change is in effect now. And then I think I will hand things off to Jeff for the engineering standards amendments, or that might even be Steph, we'll see.
Yeah, I can take that one. So we finished our last round. It was approved the same day that Butler speed limit changes were approved. So those came into effect during the same time that the speed limits changed, which was about a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, actually. So now we are starting our next round of engineering standard updates. We're in the very, very beginning stages of literally just creating documents of which ones we can tackle next. The the main ones are actually coming from Martin and his ATMP changes. And he's left the room, so don't ask me any questions about those ones. And then just some other minor ones. And I think maybe Jeff can talk about the larger ones in the cross sections maybe coming okay. Yeah, so there will be some more. We did win a grant. So I think that grant will help us tackle some of those larger ones that the community really wants to see. Did I get that right, Jeff?
Yeah, the main update now is just that the last version that you saw did get adopted by council. I don't think we've been here since that happened, so that's good news. The only real change was the rolled curb, and I don't remember what status rolled curb was in when it came through Transportation Commission, but that did not get approved with the latest updates, but we are gonna spend a little more time on it, and you'll see that the next time we come through. Other than that, yeah, there's a big list, and we kind of start with a big list and work through them and see how many we can push forward with each update. So that, yeah, your update was great. And first mile, last mile, of course, is this number of pedestrian and bike projects. First mile, last mile is a grant. It references the first and last mile as you get to transit. So it's actually a transit grant. Martin has done quite a bit of updates at the BAC and PAC. If anyone's interested in seeing kind of the project maps, my intention today was just to let you know that that was still progressing. And if Martin was still in the room, he would have talked about it more, but he walked out on us. I think he forgot he had this item, which is fine. So we can, you'll see more of that as it moves a little bit further along through design, but that's in the design phase right now. So those were the quick updates for those items.
His ears were burning.
Funny. That's good.
Thank you, Jeff. And Steph and David, all for your participation in that. Are there any, so commissioner discussion, are there any thoughts or comments on these items or what's coming up?
Chair Koenig, this is Matt Eckhoff. I just had a question for David on the Fremont Art and Lane Change project. You mentioned you're going out to study speeds. I recall, the paint was a portion of the whole restriping project. Are there plans still on the horizon for the rest of Fremont on that topic?
Thanks, Matt, for that question. Yes, there is more. So part of it will depend on what we find from our studies with the art in place. I believe if it's successful, there may be potential that we try to incorporate it into a more permanent application. But we still have our plans that we developed with the neighborhood from a neighborhood survey that we might end up relying on more than the art. So still some things to determine based on the studies. And I think there'd also be some component of neighborhood input to see if people would want the art more, if they'd want to go to the original traffic calming project that we had. So still some things that we need to determine, but definitely not stopping on Fremont. We just got to do the study and then see where we are and go from there.
My understanding was that we had, discussed and approved, moving from a 4-lane Fremont Boulevard to a 2, and then this asphalt art project came along as kind of icing on the cake. But my understanding was that the 4-lane to 2-lane restriping effort was still underway. Is that no longer the case?
No, we still want to do the 2 lanes reduction from the 4 lanes. I think we're still just trying to figure out how that's going to interact with the art. Like if we're going to move forward with the art design and try to make that permanent, or if we're going to transition to our full-blown project. So to answer your question, we're still working on the 2 lanes. We just need to figure out how the art's going to fit in that, if at all. And I think we also need to determine our budget for the project. Because we don't have a dedicated budget for traffic calming projects, we usually do a catch as when can, but still ongoing. So once we learn more about the art and kind of how that will be incorporated, we'll be able to move forward, as I believe is where we're at.
Well, thanks for that update. I appreciate it.
Certainly, my pleasure.
I have a question on Butler. Are there going to be electronic signs up on speed? I've driven it a couple times and maybe I've just missed them. They might be up.
Hi, Commissioner
Temporary
Green,
ones?
this is Steph. If you're referring to the speed limit drop along Butler between Milton
Yeah.
and Ponderosa, no, there will not be any electronic signs put up for that. I know there was talk about it being part of the grant that we won. I'm not 100% sure if that was actually included in that, but I know that there was some talk on that. So it could be coming in the future, but at this point, we're not planning on installing any electronic signs, speed limit signs.
Okay. I appreciate that update. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, well, with that, I'll conclude the information from commissioners section. Our next meeting is August 7th, 2024. The regional plan update potentially, it looks like.
Regional plan is being drafted and I think they will be ready for an update to the commission in August. It's a big document. So if it is ready for August, expect that we'll send something out, hopefully a week or two in advance for you to take a look at. So that's the plan for August.
Excellent. Well, with that, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Excellent. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.